So this one's a really important one to me. When I say the word money, you probably got a feeling, right? Something inside you felt a certain way. Now, what if I said the word mom? How did you feel? Love. How'd that make you feel? Dentist. Ooh, I got a weird feeling there. Colonoscopy. Save that one for yourself. But each one of those things made you feel a different way. The way you felt is very different than the way the person sitting next to you felt. And you got to ask yourself why. Well, it's because we're all raised differently. We're all brought up with different parents, different schools, different neighborhoods, different teachers. Every one of us was brought up in a different environment. And therefore, the knowledge that we were passed on is largely a component of the people we grew up with that we trusted. So although we can't always change things for our lives because we just simply don't have time, we certainly can change the path and the knowledge that our kids get. So let's start there. Let's start with that legacy. I'm Chris Naugle, and I'm here to help you become your own bank. Let me ask you a question. Do you have any kids? Are your kids starting to make money? And let me guess, if they are you worried as to whether or not they're going to be smart with how they use it and how they save that money? Or better yet, are you worried about how they're going to spend that money? Well, if you are, I'm right there with you. My daughter's only 2, so she's not earning money, but I'm already thinking about how do I put my daughter on a path to success? How do I get her to think differently about money? And how do I get her to understand the truth about money? It all starts at a really young age. If we start teaching our children that money is just a tool, we teach them how to use it by following the lessons that we've learned, the mistakes that we've made, best path. Because no matter how much time we have left in this life, we can change the way that their path goes. We can give them, in my case, a 40+ year advantage by teaching them through the mistakes and the problems that we've gone through in our lives. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the best ways to teach your kids or your teenagers about money so that you can be a little less stressed and so they can be a lot less stressed as a teen when they're dealing with money. And you know what? The best part is they're under your roof. So you get to teach them the way money really works. See, kids need to understand that money is a tool. If you're constantly complaining about money in your household, then that's what your kids are going to do. You're going to pass on that generational wealth knowledge to your kids the wrong way, whether you know it or not. Whether you have money or you don't have money, you're going to pass on the wrong message. You got to be positive about money. Teach money the way it needs to be taught, that it's a tool. Just like the shovel in the garage. You want to dig and build a garden, you're going to need some tools. Well, money is one of those tools. The shovel is the other one. So let's get into it. Let's talk about how you use the tool called money. Number 1, teach your children to pay themselves first. We grow up in a society where it's the opposite. We're taught to pay our expenses first, our creditors first, our debtors first, and we always come last. Like we're not worthy of being first. That's society. That's our upbringing. That's the false reality that we've been taught, and we got to change that. But we need to change that for our children. It's very simple. For every $10 that your kids earn, teach them to keep $1 before they pay anyone else, and then just multiply it there forward. Then number 2, once they earn money and they start saving that money, teach them how to maximize every single dollar. Teach them how not to live the life that we did, where we have to work a 9 to 5 and we get used to trading hours for dollars, one of the most precious and priceless things that we have, which is time. We can always make more money, but we can't make more time. So why do we teach our children to give up their most valuable resource, something they can't get back? We need to change that, and it starts right here. Once you teach them the first thing, which is save and pay themselves first, we can then move on to the second thing, which is their money must work for them. Teach your children how to make money work for them instead of them working for money. Get out of the rat race. It's way simpler than you might think. Teaching somebody how to make money work for them is as simple as every dollar they make, have that money go to work somewhere else. And when that money goes to work somewhere else, it will produce an outcome. That outcome will be interest, dividends, or profits. Then send that money back to work. You got to teach your children to not want instant gratification. One of the greatest things is delayed gratification. It makes us respect things. When we do get something, it makes us really, really appreciate that. I'll never forget as a kid, I would save up money. And I would do it in a little black box my mom got me. And then when I'd save up enough, I would go out and I would buy the things I wanted. It might have taken me 6 months or a year sometimes to save up enough money. And I'll never forget, I wanted this one BMX, a GT Pro Freestyle Tour. Now, some of you are too young to know what that means. But for those of you from the 80s, You know exactly what I'm talking about. And when I saved up enough money, I went out and I bought that bicycle. It was used, but then I decided to build it up the way I wanted it. The feeling I got from that, it was delayed gratification because I worked so hard to get that bike. Teach your children that. I know society's going to teach them that they should just go out and buy the things because they got the money in their pocket. They need that dress. They need those shoes. They need that car. But teach them to wait, because then they can have all the nice things they want in life when the time is right. So the third thing, teach your children to never invest in things that they don't know anything about. Your kids are going to have a lot of opportunities in their lifetime. They're going to get opportunities to invest in things as early as 18, maybe even 16 these days. But teach them to take off the rosy colored glasses. Teach them not to buy into FOMO, and teach them not to listen to people telling them to invest in things. They should do their own due diligence or only invest in things that they know, like, and understand. Most people invest in things because of an emotion, because it feels good, because they get excited, because if FOMO kicks in. Over 90% of investment decisions are based on an emotional decision, not a logical decision. Emotions are temporary, so just wait it out. Teach your children, again, to delay that gratification, not to take advantage of that investment opportunity, which seems too good to be true, but oh my God, it would be so nice to make those returns. Have them wait, do their due diligence, understand the investment, and then that emotion goes by, that FOMO passes, and now they're making a logical decision. You know you've done that. You've made emotional decisions, and you've also made logical decisions. Which ones worked out the best for you? I'll bet you any money it was the logical ones. It always does, and it always will. That leads me to the fourth. The fourth thing you need to teach them is to be realistic. Don't be greedy. We just talked about this a second ago, but when you make investment decisions because of somebody else telling you this crazy unrealistic return can be yours, chances are it's too good to be true. We got to be realistic. The second we get greedy, I can tell you from my experience, time and time again, I've had these investments come to me. They seemed so good, too good, but I still did them. And every time my money fleed me because I got greedy. Teach your kids to be realistic. It'll take them a long way. And the fifth thing, which is probably one of the most important things you can teach your children, is what is money without the ability to change lives? Literally, like, why are we here? Is it just to make a bunch of money, buy nice cars, buy nice things, nice fancy clothes? Well, to some that might be the case, but not for your kids. You need to teach them different. I'm teaching my daughter to understand the most important thing, and that is to give. To give generously without any conditions, without anything in return expected. If you teach your kids to give, they will be wealthy well beyond anything money can ever buy. They'll understand the true meaning of what we do, and that is giving. Zig Ziglar said it best. If we help enough people get what they want, we'll always get what we want. But that means you got to start with giving. How many of you throughout your life, and be honest with yourself, and right now in the comments below, type this in. I want to hear what you have to say. How many of you in your life have said what I've said? When I make enough, I'll give. When I have this, I'll give. How many of you have done that? So here's how I'm going to teach my daughter. It's very simple, and all of you can apply the same thing, because you all get the same thing. In the mail, how many of you have gotten the envelope that comes? Sometimes it's got a nickel, sometimes it's got return envelope, like stickers on it, and it's always asking you to give to some charity, right? We all get those, and what do most people do? You tear them up, you throw them out. People are always asking for something. Everybody wants more money. I stopped doing that. You know what I started doing? Every time I would get one, I would just grab my checkbook, and this is the important part. Grab the checkbook and physically write the check out. Sometimes it was $5, sometimes it was 10. I've given as much as 100. It was always just whatever I felt like giving at that very moment. I never thought about it. I didn't look at who it was. I didn't say, oh, this isn't a charity that I support. I support all of them because I'm giving. And I wrote the check and I'd mail it out. And you know what happens when you do that? Your name gets put in this hopper where everybody else now knows you give. So you get more and more of them. I have a stack like this right now. So what I did is I sold hats and t-shirts, and I sold books, and I sold skateboards, and raised $600. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that $600 and I'm going to write checks, but I'm going to write about 50 different checks. And I'm going to do this in front of my daughter. Now I know she's only 2, but can you imagine at 2 years old, you know, she likes writing things. I'm going to have her scribble on the paper. Sometimes I'm going to have her check the box. Hopefully she doesn't check the big box. And I'm going to make her part of that. And as she gets older, I'm going to continue to keep doing this. Think about that. What a selfless gift. I don't care who I'm giving to. I'm just giving. And I'm writing a check every time so that I am reminding myself that it's the give that matters. I never expect anything back. I don't care if I ever get anything back. If I help one kid get one thing, if I help one pet find a new home, that's all it takes, folks. Teach that to your children. Watch how that would change future generations, because we can't change where we're too much in our life right now. We can change what we do and maybe a few people, but if we start changing our children's outlook on how money works and how giving is the most important thing they should do, that can start a ripple effect. You've heard of the butterfly effect? That's what you should do. If you liked that video, check this one out. How to get started in multifamily real estate without the headache. Sounds pretty interesting, right? Check it out, and we'll see you on the next episode.